Hola, mi gente. Welcome back to another live podcast via Instagram. I am your host, Janice Torres Rodriguez, and today we're going to be talking about how to overcome imposter syndrome.
Perfect. How are you?
Good. How are you? Happy Dr. Martin Luther King Day.
Yes, absolutely. Today is a historic day for so many reasons, and I feel like I don't know, there's like an air of hope in the world right now, right? And so I'm super excited for this conversation today because one thing that I think a lot of us have been grappling with for the majority of 2020 at this point is this fear. Just like you're waiting for the bottom to fall out, you're waiting for something bad to happen, and usually it has, right? So I'm so excited to talk to you today about how we can start kind of overcoming fear because it's become such a constant presence in our lives, and I'm ready to be done with it. I don't know about you.
Right. Yeah.
So why don't you start off by introducing yourself?
Okay, so first of all, thank you so much for having me, girl. You are the definition of girl power and just walking in purpose. And I am just giving you your standing ovation today. You just
Thank
better,
you.
okay? But for those of you who don't know, my name is Elaine Gonzalez Johnson. I am a serial entrepreneur. So I'm mostly known because I started this amazing nonprofit organization called Latinas in Motion. But that was like my first baby that I decided like, oh my gosh, I could really do whatever I say I'm going to do. So then I decided to start a company called Mogul Mami. And so many people have a problem pronouncing that, guys. It's Mogul Mami, okay? And mogul means powerful person, mommy because I am a mom, I'm Latina, and I just believe that whatever God said, I can absolutely do it. And so I started speaking at colleges, universities, corporations, and just teaching people how to live their absolute best life. Just utilizing the tools that I absolutely stand by, do every single day. And then that's the thing, right? Like I'm giving everybody my formula and I didn't have a product. And so I realized, oh my gosh, I'm giving them my secret sauce and I'm leaving mad money on the table. So I decided to create Plan, Pray, Slay, the planner. And guys, I know everybody said the dumbest thing you could have bought in 2020 was a planner. That's a lie, okay? I use my planner every single day because my planner has a place where you can write down what you're grateful for, you can write down your affirmations, you can write down your prayer requests and your prayers answered. And so when I created this planner in 2017, I sold thousands of copies. And then I'm like, yo, I love my life. Like nobody tells you that you have options in terms of how to, brand your brilliance, how to walk in purpose. And so now I feel like I am a girl's girl. I am literally a cheerleader for women specifically, guys too, but women to just walk in purpose and to see somebody that looks like them, who's genuinely happy in their marriage, who has 2 kids, who's just literally trying to show people like, yo, you can have it all. Don't believe the hype that you could be a bomb businesswoman or you could be an amazing wife. You could do everything your heart set out to do. You just gotta have a really cool planner like Plan, Pray, Slay, the planner.
I love that. And I love your energy, Elaine. And that's why I was immediately attracted to you. I found your podcast, Mogul Mami, and I was like, who is this woman? She is like speaking to my soul. And I don't know if you know this, but you are one of my like spiritual gurus, even if you're not aware. I'm letting you know right now. When I need a pep talk, I'm like, I am listening to Elaine's podcast because she always gets me off of the cliff. So let's talk about your story. So you were not always an entrepreneur.
No, girl.
Give us the backstory about how you made this transition, because for a lot of women that I work with, they're like new budding entrepreneurs, and the constant theme is like this imposter syndrome. Like, who the hell am I to be charging money for something? Who am I to be speaking about something? How did you get to that point where you felt confident enough to do that yourself?
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I am pro walking in purpose because I don't know if you felt like this too, but I just felt like last year in 2020, there was a sense of like entrepreneurship or nothing. And let me just tell you to your face before I tell you how I fell into entrepreneurship is full-time entrepreneurship is hard, y'all. Okay.
That part.
So yes. Sometimes it looks sexy, but it's super hard. And the only thing I ever want to be with you guys is real. So understand that I said I am a serial entrepreneur. I have 3 different businesses, 3 streams of income, and that's how I'm able to live my best life, right? But I want to tell you that to me, you might be walking in purpose being a teacher. You might be walking in purpose, working at a bank or being a doctor. What this conversation that we're framing for you today is how to walk in your purpose, okay? And another thing I want to talk about before I tell you my story is like, sometimes you can do both. So before I became a full-time entrepreneur, I was literally working as an educator for the school district of Philadelphia while managing my nonprofit and even creating products. Like, I literally had a full-time job. I had Latinas in Motion, my nonprofit I told you guys about. I was speaking. Y'all, I would literally take a PTO day to go speak at Penn State University, right? And I had this planner. So, like, get out of your mind that you have to choose. If you have an idea and you're making $10, guess what, baby girl? You an entrepreneur. Go get your money, okay? Stop it. Stop getting it like, so I meet so many women that be like, oh, if I didn't make 6 figures in my business, I'm not successful. Who said that? Whose rubric are you using? Okay, so now that I gave you my disclaimer, let me tell you how I fell into this. So I grew up super, super, super poor. Like, if this was a poverty line, we were down here. And so in my family, education was the key to success. If you graduated high school, you was killing it, okay? So then with me, I thought that more education equated to more money. So I went to college because I wanted to get out of my environment. And I believed, okay, I'm gonna get this degree and I'm gonna make money. So that's what I live by. That's what I stood by. Then I graduated, got my bachelor's, then I got my master's, because I'm like, the more degrees I have, the more money I'm gonna get. The problem is that I wasn't following purpose. I believe that the more degrees I had, the more money I was going to make, and the happier I was going to become, and the more financially secure I was going to be. And that was a lie, right? Like, no one sat down with me, Janice, and said, honey, what are you good at? What makes your heart smile? What are you passionate about? Nobody was having those conversations with me. It was literally, okay, let me get this degree so I could get this job so I could be financially happy. And no, that's not what happened. So I decided to become an educator, and I used to help students with their college and career like readiness pathway, because I felt like I wanted to be who I needed when I was in school, right? And literally that was like my first spark of purpose, because I felt that need of like, yo, let me be who I needed. And I feel like now in real life, I speak to women who are who I needed before then. So it's like all connecting the dots. So then I got married to the love of my life. Okay. Yes. He is the baddest man. And we got pregnant, and I gained so much weight. And I know that you guys only see this part of me, but I was a thick girl and I gained 52 pounds, y'all. So I was thick and became thicker, and I was in my early 20s, and I had this baby, and I had this new body, and I had these new stretch marks and postpartum depression and all these things. And no one was having these conversations with me. No one was saying, honey, when you have this baby, you might be real sad. Or, honey, when you breastfeed, you may not lose all this weight, right? So here I am, new baby, new body, still snack of a husband, but I felt so insecure, y'all. Like, so insecure. I didn't want to shop. I didn't want to do anything. And so then I decided to walk and then jog and run. And literally, when I started running, I felt this sense of like therapy. I felt this sense of strength. I felt like, oh my gosh, for 1 hour, nobody's calling me babe, and my baby's not crying around me. So this was like my me time. So then I decided to start racing, like at long distance races. And y'all, I fell in love with it. But while I was in these races, I didn't see myself there. There were no Latinas. Now, mind you, I'm sure there were Latinas there, but I'm talking about there wasn't a squad, okay? We wasn't squatted up. And so right. So I decided to start Latinas in Motion. So here's my first point for y'all. If you find a deficit and you feel an inkling in your spirit to do something about it, do something about it. Too many times we're waiting for permission. We're waiting for our friends and our family to validate our ideas. And honey, if you're waiting for that, you're going to be waiting your whole life. For me, honey, for me, luckily, I never needed that. Like, I'm such a doer and such a, like, I'm on go that it's like, yo, I have this idea and I decided to go ahead and start this nonprofit. I don't have a business degree, y'all, okay? I'm the first entrepreneur in my family. I had no idea what I was doing, but I did it, and I did it scared. And so if you're watching this live stream and you're like, I have this idea, but I don't have the answers, do it. You learn by doing. I am confident in what I'm saying because I've lived it. I am a better business owner today than I was in 2012 because I learned from what other people say failures, but they were literally lessons. And guess what? Now I charge people to let them know what my failures were and give them the keys that I learned the how to, okay? So It's like, if you're watching this and you're like, oh, but I don't know. Honey, some of us don't know either. We just out here giving people that energy, right? And it's just like, okay, we know how they say fake it till you make it. I say faith it, okay? Because you already got whatever you need in you. And so fast forward, I started Latinas in Motion. I was running the world, did it scared, didn't know what I was doing, learned along the way, and literally started to layer up my businesses. So Latinas in Motion was my nonprofit. Then I started speaking and realized, y'all, you could get paid to speak. Okay, like paid. Like when I tell y'all how much I charge now, y'all would be like, honey, but no, it's okay. It's okay because I'm charging my rate. But before, I didn't know that. I'm like, ooh, people gonna pay me to say all that for an hour and I'm just being myself? Yes, Lord. And so I started speaking. I started creating content. I started creating products. My planner was amazing. And I decided I'm going to leave my 9 to 5 when I matched my salary. So I tell a lot of people, my job was my first investor. They didn't know it. They didn't know that they were my first investor. But I literally managed my time well, and I waited until I was secure enough to leave that job. But here's the kicker, okay? Because I don't want y'all to think Elaine lived happily ever after. When I left my job, y'all, I gotta I'm sweating it out because I'm giving y'all like my whole story. So when I left my job, I had a plan, and then my plan fell apart. Okay. So like I had all these clients lined up. I had a $20,000 contract, $20,000 contract. I was making $62,000 at the school district of Philadelphia. Cause here's the thing, we're family here. So we're going to keep it very real. I was making $62,000. So I was getting a $20,000 contract to perform 8 weeks worth of work twice a week for an hour. So y'all do the math. That's pretty good money, right? They decided they didn't have that in the budget. So I thought I was going to be living my best life as an entrepreneur, lost the contracts, lost the clients, and I thought I was going to lose my godforsaken mind. Like, let me call them and get my job back, right? Like, you feel so scared. But at the same time, you're going to reach a point where you can either fold, right? Or you can fly. You can run towards faith, or you can run towards fear, but you can't do both. You can't do both. Like, I'm grateful that I had that experience early in my entrepreneur career because it taught me like, yo, I'm built for this, you know? And I think that you really tap into who you are and your personal experiences. Like, you know, I've come from nothing. And so I literally had to break my scarcity mindset, my poverty mindset. But at the same time though, Janice, like, I know what it's like to make a lot out of a little bit. So although it looked like I lost a lot, I'm like, okay, how are we going to use this time to be great? And I learned a new skill. So I learned how to wholesale real estate. I would have never learned that had I not lost all my clientele. So I thought I lost $20,000. Y'all, I learned how to wholesale real estate, and Google it when we're done this conversation. I made $30,000 in 4 weeks wholesaling real estate. So when I tell y'all, you better learn how to flip this money. Y'all better learn how to flip this money.
Well, that is a serious testimony, Elaine. So thank you for giving us that backstory, because like you said, there is so much of this illusion that there's so much mystique around entrepreneurship and it's like so easy and whatever. It's definitely not. And so one thing I want to ask you about is when you had that contract just fall away, right? Like, that's one of those moments that really makes or breaks somebody. So what advice do you have to take those moments and just be like, this is not going to be what ends me?
So what that situation taught me is that it's important to have multiple streams of income. And I know that sounds really cliche, guys, but my whole thing is like, if I know how to make $1, then I'm never going to be in need, right? Like I was so dependent on, I'm going to get this $20,000 and I'm going to focus all my energy onto this $20,000 and I'm going to be the best speaker for this program. And my whole thing is like, I should have never stopped, selling planners. I should have never stopped promoting myself as a speaker. I should have never stopped doing some of the things that I was doing, but I was so focused on like, I'm going to cancel everything because this is the biggest contract I've ever had. So I wanted to make sure I was serving in excellence. When at the end of the day, it's like, for me, I enjoy making money while I sleep, right? So like the planner, for example, this planner that I have, I created it in 2017, guys, okay? Now I make it prettier each year, but in terms of the structure, it is the same product from 2000. So I created it once. I make it pretty every year, but I created it once. And this makes me thousands of dollars every year. I don't have to talk to nobody. Those orders come in while I'm sleeping. All I have to do is ship them to their new homes, right? Mm-hmm. And so my thing is like, this is a $35 planner. So if I sold 10, y'all do the math. Like you have to get out of your head that you have to make money one way. When the reality is, honey, diversify that portfolio and figure out how to make money multiple ways. But what I do want to tell you is, try to find more money with doing less work. Stop exchanging your time for money. For me, the reason why I preach whole life success, because you will never hear that I'm a hustler. You're never going to hear that out of my mouth because I enjoy dating my husband. I enjoy spending time with my children. I don't subscribe to that 20-hour workday. Now, there are certain times, right, Janice, where we got to work 20 hours. But that's not something that I subscribe to because for me, I didn't leave my 9 to 5 to be a slave to entrepreneurship.
Preach.
I left my 9 to 5 to enjoy my life and walk in purpose. And so you need to define success for yourself. For me, making money is great. But if I'm miserable, I'm good off that. So like if my bills are paid and I could travel and my kids have everything they need and I have the lifestyle that I said I wanted, that's winning. Too many of us think that what other people have is success. Well, I'm not successful until I get a Louis Vuitton bag. I'm not successful till I drive a Maserati. I'm not successful till I get a mansion. You get those items and you're miserable because you were posting things for people and you were creating things to, really post up for people when at the end of the day, you never wanted those things for yourself. Mm-hmm. Honey, I still shop at Target. I will wear a Fashion Nova dress. I'm good with mine. I'm not going to front for y'all. I will post up in a picture in a $20 dress and be like, joy. Okay? I will be like, purpose. Why? Because I work for myself and I enjoy my life. Whether people be like, oh my gosh, she's wearing a $20 dress. That's fine. That's fine. I'm happy with me. And so when we're talking about imposter syndrome, the one thing I want to tell you is if you don't define success for yourself, somebody's going to define it for you. And let me tell you something. When you rock by other people's standard of success, you're going to be miserable. Like literally write down what you want for your life. You can look at my list. It's literally in my planner. I write, date my husband once a week. We date every Friday. Read a bedtime story to my children. Do you know how many people I know who are successful, who make millions of dollars and miss all of their children's games and, are getting a divorce? Why? Because you miss the point of what you really wanted and who you was doing it for. Oh, I'm doing this for my family, but you're not there for your family, right? So for me, if I'm talking about I'm a mogul mommy, I better be a mom. If I'm talking about I'm crazy in love like Beyonce, I better date my man because those are the things that are important to me. So I think too many of us deal with imposter syndrome because we allow Instagram to tell us what success is. Listen, honey, the only person you need to report to is the Spirit of the Lord, okay? And if you good, you good.
I hear that. Oh my gosh. I told y'all this conversation was going to be fire, okay? A word that I keep hearing from you, Elaine, is this word of purpose.
Yes.
How do you discover your purpose?
Oh, okay.
Because like you said, you know, there's so many people out here with opinions, putting all this crap in your head, talking about they know what's best for you. How do you get past that?
Right. So this is what I believe. Okay. So y'all could believe what y'all believe. This is the Elaine version of purpose. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys an example. This is my favorite example that I use when I'm speaking. When somebody purchases this planner from me, right? They might say, hey, Elaine, you know, why did you put, let me give y'all a good example. Why did you put the blessing section here? Right? So then I'm able to tell them, oh, every month you could write down what your blessings are so that you never forget what God did for you. And they're like, oh, thank you. I didn't know that. Why do they ask me that question? They ask me why that section is in the product I created it, because I'm the creator. And so too many of us are like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? You got to ask the creator, y'all. God created you. God was like, the world would not be the same without Elaine in it. So let me create Elaine, because this world would not function without Elaine. You walking in that same power, y'all. Like too many of us are not owning our power. Too many of us are walking around here real confused. Let me unconfuse you. You're breathing, you have purpose. If you're confused about your purpose, that's absolutely fine. But let me tell you something. Spend some time with yourself. Spend some time with God. Pray like, Lord, please tell me what my purpose is. And you might feel like, oh my gosh, this is dumb. It's not dumb. It is not dumb. Like for me, start thinking about, who do you ask for help with at your job, your boss? Why? Because they know why they hired you. So when you're thinking about your purpose, you better contact your creator and be like, why am I here? And it's going to come to you. For me, I believe purpose is where joy is, because when I'm connected to joy, that's when I feel most connected to God. When I feel miserable, God don't live there. God don't live in misery, y'all, okay? And so many people I know are at jobs and careers that they absolutely hate, and they're confusing world success by purpose, and it is not the same thing. Purpose is connected to people. People. You cannot be selfish and think you have purpose. It doesn't work that way. My purpose is directly connected to people. If you are not into service, honey, go read some books. Go read some books and drink some water and mind your business until you could get into the service business. Because let me tell you, purpose is connected to people. People is connected to service. Okay, like you guys have to like get that in your spirit. When you get better at that, y'all, I pinky promise, you're gonna glow from the inside out like a Care Bear. Like when I tell you, when you reach that level of genius of like, yo, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Yeah. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Like, Absolutely. Can't nobody tell you nothing. It's the best ever. And it's like, find some people in your corner that'll pray with you. Like, I have friends when I'm down, when I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this anymore. Because here's the thing, this version of Elaine doesn't come out every day. Sometimes I get sad. Sometimes I get mad. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to. And then I have people that are like, oh no, honey, you're going to get this. So if you feel like you absolutely can't do it by yourself, because here's the thing I don't want you to forget. Janice and I know that there's a pandemic. We know that we feel so isolated right now, and those feelings are real. And I don't want to ignore that and seem tone deaf. And that's why community is important. Didn't I tell you purpose and people? Community. Y'all better get into some communities and people that are going to pour into you. I no longer rock with people that leave me drained after every conversation. I'm good off that. I'm good off that. I know what energy I bring. I know what love and accountability levels that I bring to every relationship. And my whole thing is, every time we talk, if you leave me feeling empty, I'm going to have to dismiss you. And it doesn't have to be negative. I don't have to be like, we're breaking up. No, but it's going to be like, when you call me to hang up, it's going to be a no, boo, period. No explanation. That's another thing. Yeah. You don't owe nobody explanations. But the spirit of the living God, I'm going to keep going back to that. So I hope that was helpful.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, it's one of the things that I always tell people, especially when they're asking about, like, you know, starting a business. This foundation of service is so on point. Like, if you are doing something for the money, that is the quickest way to a miserable ass life.
Right.
It's just, it's proven itself time and time again. Like, there's people in the world who literally, that's their only focus in life, and they are some of the saddest, loneliest, most joyless people. I always think when you're thinking about a business or even just anything that you're going to do with your life, like, there has to be a why that is not revolving around money. It has to be you're understanding your greater purpose, your passion, and you are ready to share it with the world.
Right. You go. Boo, me and you, we here, girl.
We are. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this other subject that I think it falls into imposter syndrome, because a lot of us as Latinas, as women of color, as first entrepreneurs in our family, we're very uncomfortable like asking people to pay us money. How did you get past that? Because I know for me, I was kind of just for the longest time like undercharging, not knowing what I was worth. How do you get past that mental block?
Right. So I'm going to say something that might seem unpopular, guys. But it's okay, because I'm giving y'all some real good tea. So take some notes, okay? So I did a lot of speaking for free before I decided to charge, because I felt like my first speaking engagement, y'all, was raggedy with a capital R, underline, exclamation point, okay? And so looking back now, I'm like, oh my gosh, if those people would have paid me, they would have asked for a refund. So it's like, anytime you have an opportunity to grow your gift, to become excellent, to become the expert, use those opportunities to get comfortable, right? Because when you are excellent, okay, that's another key word we're going to talk about today. When you're excellent in your field, honey, the money gonna chase you down, okay? So I'm gonna give you guys an example. Guess where I just spoke at last fall? I spoke virtual L'Oreal. I mean, come on, Lord. Okay.
I used to work there.
I spoke at L'Oreal. Like, you know, I spoke at the Michelle Obama Becoming event. Guys, I don't have a PR team. I have great energy. I walk in purpose. I'm authentic, and I love the Lord. People be like, how do you do it? I walk in purpose. I'm authentic. I have great, like, that is my key. But I did a lot of speaking for free before I became an expert in that field. Then start doing some research. What are other people charging in that field? So when I first started speaking, I wasn't, getting paid. So my first speaking engagement was like $800, right? I was still working full time. And I was thinking, like, if the school district of Philadelphia pays me $200 a day, then I could make 4 times as much making $800. Baby girl, don't get paid $800 now. I'm just gonna let y'all know that, okay? My fee's a lot higher now. But I first started charging $800, and it seemed like a lot, and it was great. What do people pay me now for? People pay me for what I have to give up to be there, okay? I got 2 kids. I got Dr. Husband that I love to date, okay? So now you're asking me to travel, or you're asking me to spend my time with you to teach you something. The price went up, boo, okay? The price went up. So if you're wondering, okay, what am I going to start charging? Do some research. Become the expert first, and use opportunities like Instagram, Facebook to get better. There are so many people that I know, and Janice, I know you know too, that be like, I don't like the sound of my own voice. Blasphemy. Your voice is your power. This little voice right here is my money maker, okay? It may get on your nerves, and that's fine. Just know people pay me to hear this voice. Your voice is your power. Write that down. I never want to hear none of y'all, 62 of y'all on this live, I never want to hear you say that you hate your voice. Your voice is your gift, and your voice is your power, okay? Number 2, use that voice, expert, until you feel comfortable enough to make that money. Now, here's the thing. When you start charging, you're still going to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know. No, you charge. You charge. Because the same way you apply for that job and was just like, do you want to pay me $40,000 or $50,000? You're going to go up to them clients and say, this is my fee, okay? And here's the thing. When you say your fee and you be quiet. You don't say anything. Why? Because they don't need to hear your fear. You don't need to be like, oh, well, that's too much. No, it's not too much. Trust me, those people have money. If you're good, like you say you good, you're worth it. If you feel like you have a crappy product, honey, then you don't have no business charging. If you're confused about should I charge or if I shouldn't charge, look at your product or look at your service-based business. Would you buy you? Would you hire you? Use your product. Because here's the thing I tell everybody. I'm using Plan, Pray, Slay Planner, whether you use it or not. Why? Because this is a great product. I listen to my own podcast. I do get high off my own supply. Why? Because I believe in what I'm saying, okay? So if you would not hire you, you have no business charging. If you believe in what you're doing, yes, throw that number down, throw that fee down, and just stay quiet. And that's your fee. And you get what you get, and you don't get upset. Now, if those companies be like, that's not in our budget. Okay. How low do you want me to go? Don't be disrespectful. I do have to hit up some companies like that.
Yeah.
Now, sir, ma'am, I know that I'm excellent. So don't talk to me crazy, but it is negotiable. Okay.
Yeah.
And then here's the thing, the ball's in your court. There are some times that I'm speaking, like I spoke at a charter school. They couldn't afford to pay me L'Oreal money. Right. So it's like, I'm gonna do it for the kids. Y'all know I got a heart for kids, but I'm not doing no freebie. Why? Because I know my worth. I know my worth. And guess what? A couple board members of that charter school did attend the speaking engagement virtually, and they're like, she was the most dynamic speaker we ever had. And I kind of felt like, y'all should have paid me my fee. Just kidding. But I'm excellent, and now I'm in their circle. So I'm pretty sure that next time they're going to pay me my fee because they see that I'm excellent and I do what I say I'm going to do. Now, where does that conversation leave me with you guys, on this live? It's going to feel crazy to you, and that's okay. But when you know that you have an excellent product, if you know that you would hire you, you charge what you charge, and that's it. And every client is not going to be your client. There are some people that be like, oh, I'm not going to pay Elaine. Cool, you're not my clients. Moving on to the next. Right. And how you get more clients? You get more clients by what? We said this earlier, serving your community. I did not get to speak at Michelle Obama. I didn't get to speak at L'Oreal by sitting at home, sitting on my gifts. I was out in these streets. I was networking intentionally, right? And all the time, y'all, I'm literally serving the world with my excellence. I use my podcast to speak life to people. I use my Instagram to teach people free game. Like, this is my life's work. I don't play about these things. So my thing is, like, if I give y'all free game all the time on my podcast, on Instagram, on Facebook, and you're asking me for some next level stuff, you're gonna have to pay me. Yes,
thank you.
Are.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yo, I feel like we're like spirit sisters. Like, you are speaking my language. And yeah, one thing that I love is just you're unapologetic about knowing your worth. And what does it take to get to that level of confidence? Because I feel like for me, it's just literally been an exercise in excellence, in just really becoming like, I know what I'm worth. I know what I offer. I'm not going to argue with you about it. Like, it's not negotiable. My value is not negotiable. So how did you get to that point? Is it the same thing?
For sure. So like, my thing is like, when I know that I'm changing the trajectory of someone's day, right? When I speak and the audience is just like, oh my gosh, this is just what I needed to hear. It's like, oh, thank you, Lord. Because like, I literally get to do what I love to do. Like, that's my job, or that's my career, right? But my thing is like, y'all, hold on to receipts. Not just to be petty and be like, I changed your life today, right? No, but it's to remind you when you feel like you don't want to anymore, because trust me, we talking all this empowerment today. There are going to be days that you're going to be like, I'm good off this. I don't want to do this no more. And just know, I'm there too. I'm not going to sit here in front. Sometimes I cry little baby rivers to my husband, and I'll be like, you know what, babe? I'm just going to go and be a regular schmegular girl because I just don't want to. And he'd be like, honey, you want pizza and champagne? Okay, and then tomorrow we're going to pick this right up. Yes, I do want pizza and champagne. But like, for me, it's okay to be in those feelings of you're upset, you feel like you don't know, you want to cry baby river, you go ahead and do that. But then the next day, you get up, you say your affirmations, and you boss up and you walk in your excellence, y'all. Like, if it's one thing that I know, can't nobody do Elaine the way Elaine does Elaine. That's why thousands of planners. There's thousands of planners on the market. There are a billion podcasts on Apple, on Google. But when you are authentically yourself, y'all, honey, you gonna shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, because it's like authenticity just beings. Like, you feel it. The same way y'all can feel when somebody's being fake is the same way y'all can feel when somebody's being real. And when you reach that level of genius, that you are unapologetically yourself, like, yo, it is like the most amazing feeling. Like, now I am myself wherever I go. You gonna hear me talk about the Lord, whether it make people uncomfortable or not. You gonna hear me talk about Dr. Husband, whether people be like, oh my gosh, she's so hype, she's so Joe. That's fine. That's who I am. I'm good with me. And the more people are good with themselves and y'all get together, y'all gonna elevate. Y'all gonna elevate. I pinky promise.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so true. It's so important to find your tribe that's going to keep you in that CEO mindset, because people can be real quick to start criticizing you when you start elevating beyond where they're comfortable with you. Okay? You got those people off. All right. Let's talk about work and life balance, because like you said, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a mogul. How the hell are you doing all of this?
So, okay, I want you guys to know that I'm able to like do what I say I'm going to do because I set up a list of non-negotiables. If y'all don't get anything out of this conversation, I hope you guys literally set up some boundaries. My thing is, everybody can't have access to me. They can't. Okay. And you have to write down what are some non-negotiables for you. So like every Friday night, I am dating my husband. It's important. We've been married 12 years and we literally are happy in real life, not just on Instagram. Why? Because we are intentional about our relationships. I am so intentional about my kids. Like, I want to make sure that I'm present. I want to make sure that they're growing. I want to make sure that I'm pouring into their level of genius as well, you know, and it's like those things are important to me. So for me, I have a list of like, okay, when is our family date? When do I have to do speech therapy with my son? When do I have to date my husband? And those are my non-negotiables. So if you invited me to speak at Harvard, let's say Harvard calls me, hey, Elaine, can you speak on Friday? Unfortunately, no, I have a commitment. My commitment is my husband. Okay. So it's like, if I bend and be like, oh, honey, I can't date you because it's Harvard. You start bending and then you're going to keep bending, right? So then your boundaries and your non-negotiables are now a hot mess because now you're just, oh, well, saying yes to everything. Here's the thing. If somebody really wants to hire you, they're going to hire you when you are available. Like, don't feel like you have to say yes to every opportunity, because every yes you give to the world is a no you're giving to yourself. And here's the thing. Elaine gonna get a yes before Elaine gives herself a no. And that is a fact. You know what I'm saying? So like when I've worked with brands before, they're really flexible because they want Elaine on their agenda. You know what I'm saying? And if it's something that it's like, that I really, really want to do, then I am making sure that I'm intentional about switching dates out. So like if I didn't date my husband on a Friday, then we're like, okay, Tuesday, we gonna go to lunch and date. We're not just canceling just to cancel. We're going to pivot to make sure that we're still priorities in each other's lives. So for me, my faith, non-negotiable. My husband, my children, non-negotiable. And then everything else comes after that. Why? Because those are the top things that make sure that I continue to pour into myself. So when I'm going to church, when I'm reading my Bible, when I'm, you know, writing in my pen or whatever, that's what fills up my cup. If I stop doing that because I'm worried about making all this money and getting all these clients and I want to be a millionaire, and then continue to like literally allow myself to deflate, I'm going to be no good to none of y'all. Now, instead of like popping energy, Elaine, y'all gonna see miserable Elaine, okay? And she not gonna be where the money reside because her energy her energy gone, okay? So like for me, in order to have whole life success, in order to have work-life balance, make sure that you literally sit down with yourself. And it's January, y'all. Do this, John, tonight. Do this week. Write down, am I not giving up on? What is my non-negotiable? What am I committing to? I wake up every day at 5 from Monday through Friday to go to the gym. Going to the gym is my non-negotiable. I have to be snatched. Okay, y'all? I'm 34. I gotta stay snatched in these Wakandan streets. So like for me, going to the gym is a non-negotiable. So like figure out what fills up your tank, what fills up your love tank, what fills up your level of genius, what fills up your purpose, right? And write those things down. So as you grind, as you grow, as you elevate, and more opportunities come, you're not a slave to that money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such good advice. One thing I want to touch on before we hop off of here is because it's January, there's a lot of people in that reset mode, right? And I feel like we are ready to get past our excuses that we made in 2020 about why we didn't accomplish certain things. Obviously, it was a crazy year. I think we're over that. I think we're ready to pursue what we might have postponed. Can you give us some encouragement for how to get past any excuses that we still have that are blocking our blessings in 2021?
Yes. Okay, y'all ready for this? Give me some hearts if you're ready for this. Okay. My whole thing is, and I say this all the time, you don't have as much time as you think you have. You don't. You don't. So like my whole thing is like, if God put in my spirit to start Latinas in Motion and I didn't do that in 2012, there are so many women that have lost weight, that stopped using their diabetes medication, that met other people. Like some of these women are coming out in each other's wedding. They're at each other's baby showers, right? That was a sisterhood we connected through Latinas in Motion. If I lived in fear and postponed it because I thought I had time, I would be missing out on all of that amazing purpose, all of those relationships, all of those amazing things. Why? Because I thought I had enough time. Because I thought, oh, I'm scared. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till I have the answers. I'm going to wait till I figure it out. I'm going to wait till I have more money. You don't have as much time as you think you have. Here's the thing. If God trusted you to give you that vision, it's yours, boo. It's your job to elevate. So whether you're walking in fear, but you're still doing it, honey, you're going to be great at it. You just got to make sure that you're doing that thing every single day. I read a post today that said, like, people think success is in a microwave. Success is in that slow cooker, boo. We some crock pots. So like you're looking at 2021 Elaine. 2021 Elaine started in 2012. So like, don't compare your chapter, your business, your journey to mine. Yes, I could sit here confidently and have an amazing conversation with my sister in success, but understand all of the no's and the failures and the fear and the doubt and the, I don't know if I could, but I did it anyways. And that's why I get to sit in this seat today and speak life to you, because I did it when I was scared, because I did it when I didn't know, because I did it when I didn't have $1 in my bank account. I bet on me. I bet on me. I need you to bet on you. I don't care about this pandemic. This pandemic did not cancel your purpose. It didn't. You did. You decided coronavirus is here, so let me sit down and do nothing. There is a time to do nothing, and then there is a time to get up and work. There's a time to do nothing, and there's a time to meditate. Like, we have to stop using this pandemic as an excuse. If you make it to the market with a mask, you make it to Target with a mask, you better run to your purpose. Mask, no mask. Like, it's time to stop playing. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because, like, guys, I have joy. I never knew what this looked like or felt like. Growing up, my parents had a very toxic marriage. So for me to be happily married, like in real life, for me to have 2 amazing kids, like, I don't take that stuff for granted. For me to be able to sit here and be a self-employed Latina at 34, I don't take that stuff for granted. But what's the difference between me and you? You are just as gifted. You are just as talented, but you're sitting in your gift. You're sitting in your purpose. And the difference between me and some other people is like, I'm going to do it whether I have the answers, whether I have the money. If God said go, I'm going to go. Because if God gave it to you, he's going to provide all the tools you need. All you got to do is put one foot in front of the other.
Yes, you got to have that faith in yourself to start executing the plan, because you already know what you got to do.
Girl,
you already know.
Yes.
I knew this conversation was going to be fire, but I really feel like it's just, I cannot get enough of your energy. You are a gift. Honestly, you are a gift to the world. I'm so excited to be able to introduce you to my audience. And so for people that want to just find out more about you, work with you, follow your journey, where's the best place to find you?
Yes. So if you want to like follow all this good vibes, you guys can follow me on my main Instagram page. It's Elaine G. Johnson. G is for Gonzalez. People be like, what is a G for? You know, I'm married and I love being a Johnson. But before I was a Johnson, I was Gonzalez. So Elaine G. Johnson. My Mogul Mami page is a lot of my podcast stuff. My Plan, Pray, Slay is a lot of my planner stuff. And so for me, it's just important that I find ways to really share my light with everybody who comes in contact with me. Because I feel like that's how we get better and that's how we win.
Absolutely. Guys, subscribe to the Mogul Mami podcast. It will become your weekly ritual. It's so good. It's just so good. And Elaine, I will continue to find ways for us to connect. Hopefully we can meet one day in person once the world goes back to normal. I just love your energy. I love everything that you're doing. And girl, just keep shining.
Yes, you too. And thank you. I'm so humble you chose me. You like, you know, you popping, girl. You the Beyonce of Latino finances. And I'm like, you want to interview me? Yes. It's a yes.
I love spending time with you. It is such a pleasure. This will not be the last. So thank you so much again. And thank you guys for being here.